I got tired of hitting a lot of brick walls, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to self-produce a one-man show, right? And so I self-produced it, and that was a big confidence builder for me. It was really well received, won some awards for it. And then, it's interesting is it's so much easier to make money and get paid to ghostwrite and do email marketing. And I would just, encourage people, if they're struggling at all, is to consider doing that, because the way everything is now is you can self-produce almost anything if you have the money. So just
Yeah.
ghostwrite, make the money. There's never been more demand right now for copywriting or for ghostwriting or email marketing or whatever, especially if you can be entertaining and make the money and then self-produce whatever you're going to do, either self-publish a book or whatever.
Yeah. So let me ask you about the whole. You said you kept hitting brick walls. Why? What do you think that is? Like in LA, where do you think people break through, and where do you think people kind of like hit that wall? Is it a? I'm sure it has something to do with like a network of people that you surround yourself with. But what do you think kind of stop? Like, where do you think you hit the wall, and what caused you to, I guess, not being able to get like past that or get around some of that?
Honestly, my stuff wasn't good enough in the
Okay.
beginning. So it's just I didn't have a healthy respect for the craft of what I was doing, because
Okay.
I was so used to a lot of the things that I did, that I was able to just kind of do it like at about 70-80% and have success. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
some things I'm good at, and writing is not like that. Writing, if you're going to write, um, you got to get the reps in, and you can't learn what you need to learn. You can't have the discoveries that you need to have unless you get the reps in. So I'm a big volume rep person now. But in the
Right.
beginning was not. And then the other thing is just there's so much, there's so many people trying to get stuff made, and there's only so much money. And, so even if I felt like I had, like, the closest I got was with, I had a pilot for TV. And that's when Bo Bridges got connected to it. And I was like, this is going to get made. Right. And even if a pilot gets made, though, something like only like a very small percentage of pilots get made into TV shows. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so, in that world, it's the traditional entertainment world. There's very large barriers to entry, but there's not a lot of opportunities, because there's only so many movies that are made in a year. There are only so many TV shows. And that's when I started to kind of look at, like I said, self-producing. And now every year it gets easier to self-produce whatever it is that you want to do. And I've negotiated. So I'm also, a lawyer. I've negotiated some book contracts for people. I would just, unless you can get a contract with a big publishing house, I would just always self-publish your own books, because the all the contracts and everything is slanted in such a way to take advantage of all the creators. And so, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I've
that's
heard that. I've heard that so many times from different people about self-publishing a book. And I just posted something about that recently, that I'm actually working on outlining, my own book, probably looking to like start writing it maybe end of this year, and getting it out by maybe sometime in 2024. I don't really have like a strong timeline. I'm just like more like marinating it right now. But yeah, I really don't understand getting going down that rabbit hole. I mean, I guess if you got a name behind you and different things like that, but I feel like self-publishing, even if you do have a name behind you, like I look at people, for example, I was just listening to Louis CK, right? He was on Joe Rogan recently, and he does everything for the past like 10 years or something. He does everything on his own website. Like he doesn't go
Mhm.
through the regular, funnels of Hollywood and getting, Netflix and, all these other things. He's just like, dude, it's on my website, and if you want to check it out there, the money comes directly to me, and then I, pay people out and all these other things. I feel like there's no, I can't find a strong reason for somebody to go down this rabbit hole of like going with a publishing company. Like, what is that primary reason? Like, can you tell me what that is?
Well, I think part of it's generational. So I'm older, right? So for me, when I grew up, there wasn't the options that there are now for self-publishing. So like in my 20s and my 30s, even into late 30s, early 40s, there just didn't have the options that we have today in terms of the ability to do whatever it is that you want to do, right? So that's one thing. It's like sort of generational momentum. I think the other thing, though, is ego, and then the third part about it is people just don't simply know. So if you
Right.
look at your traditional like information product business, right, on the internet, people who sell
Hmm.
courses, people who sell, whatever, like a book or whatever you want,
Yeah.
You can take that model, that exact model, and you can apply it to the creative world. You can apply it to, you could make your own TV show and do that. You could apply
Right.
it to whatever it is that you wanted to do. And, but that, the information products is a learned skill. Like in 2017, I was like, I was tired of paying people for my law firm to generate leads. And so I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And that sort of started me the rabbit hole of internet marketing and direct response and all of that. And it took, it took 5 years before I even knew my head from my ass in terms of what I was doing,
Right.
and so I think that's the other part about it too, is it's a skill set problem. People have, they'll have one of three things. They'll have the creative skill, right? But they'll have the wrong mindset, which is the starving artist mindset. They're like, I'm not going to
Hmm.
be a business person. Okay. And then even if they have the business person, they don't have the marketing skills. So you really need those three buckets. You need the creative skill to be able, I'm going to create something good. You need the mindset, which is like, no, I'm a business person, and so I'm not a starving artist. And then you need the actual, okay, I know how to, know how to market that. And if you can't do that yourself, you need to be able to farm those out.
Right, right, right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.